you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the Iron Lady sings that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show's family loves you, but doesn't judge you as harshly as the rest of the world, because we know you're here to learn, grow, do things, and make your life and the world a better place. For the show to your family, friends, and relatives, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss1 on the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the interwebs.
Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind.
Today's featured author comes to us from bookstolifemarketing.co.uk. With expert publishing to strategic marketing, they help authors reach their audience and maximize their book success. Today we have an amazing young man on the show. We're going to be talking to him about his book, Brainstorms, Surviving Catastrophic Illness, out April 29th, 2008 by Les Duncan. We're going to get into it with him and find out some of his things. Clearly, I'm having some brainstorms today, trying to get the old brain to function, so maybe he can help me out. Les labored his way through college by working full-time while simultaneously carrying a full load of college classes, existing on 5 hours of sleep a night. In June of 1971, he was a commissioned officer in the United States Air Force. He resigned his commission after 11 years of service and went to work in the oil and gas industry, something he'd always dreamed of doing. He spent several years working in women's retail clothing industry, where he was selected by CIO magazine, one of the top 10 CIOs in the United States, and his IT organization was voted top 100 in the world. He became the first women's clothing retailer to sell merchandise on the internet, harvesting customers who were expatriates living abroad, military women, etc., etc. Customers living in rural areas far away from traditional mail also. But the biggest surprise was revealing customers who lived abroad and hungered for their clothing. The customers made several trips to New York City, where they purchased millions of dollars of merchandise and carried back merchandise to open their own store in the country. They turned out to be some of the largest customers for them. He worked in the largest volume in sales, alongside sales associates, spending 2 days every month at the largest store in the company, interacting with customers, store associates, and mall management personnel. He ran off his professional career by working at Atmos Energy Corporation, the largest natural gas company in the United States, and he was hired to beef up the executive staff for many mergers to come. The last merger he oversaw doubled the size of the company. He was hired to upgrade the C-level of the organization to deal with large mergers and acquisitions. Welcome to the show. How are you, Les?
I'm good, Chris. How are you today?
I am excellent. Give us any .coms, websites, any YouTube, any place you want people to find you on the interwebs.
I have a website. It's all small letters, Leslie, Leslie, Duncan, DUNCAN.com. That's information about my books as well as my life, and a few interviews in the back about how much Sharon, my wife Sharon, and I love each other, and how we've built a strong and happy marriage.
Love. So wonderful. Yeah. And strong marriages, those are hard to find nowadays. So give us a 30,000 overview. What's in the book, and what is this Brainstorms thing?
Brainstorms is about me and the 8 massive bleeds, brain bleeds, and the 8 debilitating strokes. And doctors told me that I was damaged. I was so damaged, and the bleeds were so ferocious that I would never be able to survive. And I didn't accept that prognosis. I'm a fighter. And I told them that I wasn't going to roll over and die. So I worked my way up to 47 hours a week of physical, occupational, speech, and what I call leading edge therapies. Means things that were not taught in medical school, but certainly worked.
Now, so you survived 4 brain hemorrhages and 2 brain surgeries. Is that correct?
8 brain hemorrhages. And
8 brain hemorrhages.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm reading off of Amazon, and it says 4 on here, so somebody needs
That's because it's an old book.
Oh, it's an old book. Oh, you had more since. Okay, 2008. Oh, yeah. All right, that makes sense now. 8 brain hemorrhages. Now, was there some sort of condition you had, or disease,
yes.
or some sort of thing that was causing these?
Yes. My mother passed on to me a defective gene in her DNA. It had been passed down through the family over the years, and it causes the blood vessels in my brain to form in clusters and knots instead of straight lines. And when that happens, pressure builds up, and sometimes they explode.
Oh, wow. That's not a good place to have stuff explode. It's in the brain.
No, that's right.
Yeah. In fact, earlier today, we had a gal on who had a brain tumor. When they removed it, she forgot everything, which can be convenient in life, really. But she forgot her husband was even married. So it must be brain day today. So this is wild. You had the surgeries, but you figured out a way to utilize your brain, keep things functioning and working. Tell us more about how you developed through this and lead us through some of it.
There were certain things that just wouldn't heal with traditional therapies. My face, the left side of my face was paralyzed, and my eye was stuck on open.
Oh, wow.
All the time, day and night. Wow. And I drooled out of the left side of my mouth. And in 1 week, I had 3 people ask me if I had tried acupuncture. And
acupuncture?
And I thought to myself, that must be a sign. 3 different people I didn't hardly knew, told me to try acupuncture.
Really?
Searched around and found a Chinese acupuncturist who had studied acupuncture, practiced acupuncture, and taught acupuncture in China. Specialty was reversing paralysis. He put the needles in my face. And I think his trick was he had some way of determining exactly where those nerve endings were in my face. And then he hooked up electrodes to those needles and turned the juice up as hard as I could stand it. And after 6 weeks, my face was back to normal.
Wow.
And that was after 12 weeks of traditional therapy.
Now, was it acupuncture or acupressure? Acupuncture. Right?
Yes.
Wow. Jeez. I might go get some of that now because I drew out the side of my face, but it's just can only see because I'm stupid.
The other kind of leading edge technology was biophoton treatment. They got a hold of me because...
Is this something that Spock gives you, the photon experience or something? That sounds like a Star Trek thing.
They wanted
photon laser set for stun.
Come to a clinical trial in Butler, Pennsylvania. So I did. And I had trouble getting from my car to the front door of the building with a walker when I got there. When I left, I walked out with a normal gait and no trouble whatsoever, feeling better than I'd ever felt in my life. And in the meantime, I've been bombarded with biophotons, which are a substance that's present in the body. Its purpose is to heal diseases or wounds, but there's nothing in your body that's powerful enough to tackle a stroke. We're looking for people who are multiple stroke survivors. I certainly met that criteria, and it was amazing to me how much that changed my body. I walked out, didn't have any trouble with anything.
Wow! Now that was
big steps. Those were big steps along the way to full recovery.
So I Googled this. Now, do I have this right? Photon laser treatment?
Not laser.
Or photon?
Biophotons.
Oh, biophotons. Okay. Yeah. Going off American. Biophoton treatment?
Yeah.
Were you able to do that here, or did you have to go to another country to do that?
I went to Butler, Pennsylvania.
No, that is another country. No, I'm just kidding. We love Pennsylvania. We love Pennsylvania. We're just teasing. We did see that movie, The Deer Hunter, so that was kind of weird. But other than that, we love Pennsylvania.
I think they've closed that center down now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they still sell the biophoton generators that you can take home and put in your bed and they work there too.
You put them under your bed and they work through the bed?
Absolutely.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
This is pretty well. Bionic biophoton therapy, according to bearcreekclinic.com. I guess they service this. I'm just pulling stuff off the internet and looking for talkable points here. But wow, they say it may help with tick-borne illness, biotoxin, chronic fatigue, pain disorders, bad girlfriends, sleeping disorders, wound. I need it for that. Musculoskeletal injuries, arthritis, skin conditions. So what is this? What does this photon stuff kind of do? What in your mind, and what is how is it helping you?
It helped me a lot. Like I said, I went in not feeling real good, and I came out feeling the best I'd ever felt.
Wow.
I saw a doctor twice a week, and I saw a nurse twice a week, and they measured things like liver health and kidney health and heart health and things like that. It was a real shot in the arm for me.
Wow. I wonder if this is going to help. We've had lots of people, I mean, not lots, but it seems like a lot, but I think about 5 or 10 people on the show that had brain traumatic injuries where the brain has taken a hit. One of my friends, he fell on the back of his head onto his hard floor after he was having too much fun drinking and cracked open his skull and had blood on the brain. They had to go in and remove it. It gave him a brain traumatic injury. We had somebody, I think last week, that had one, and we've had people that their daughters had wrecked a car and they wrote books about it. I wonder if that could help people with brain traumatic injury.
Absolutely, it could.
Wow.
Yeah, I speak in brain traumatic injury support groups and injury support groups, and they all have the same issue and have same solutions to their problems.
Wow. That's wild, man. This could be revolutionary, because my best friend that I really enjoyed spending time with, having coffee and lunches with and hanging out with, he had this injury, and we couldn't hang out anymore, because when people with TBI, I think it's called, they go out and they get overwhelmed by the noise and all the crap that goes on, people talking, and it just becomes overload for their brain. And so we couldn't hang out anymore, and it was heartbreaking. You couldn't spend time with your friend. Sometimes he'd come out for coffee and spend 5 minutes, and then you have to, Chris, I got to go. And you just have to understand this. It's the nature of this industry thing. But God, if we could heal some of these folks and make it so they could function a whole lot easier in society for them, I'm all for it.
I've experienced a few miracles along the way too.
Yeah.
One of my 8 bleeds resolved itself just before surgery was scheduled.
Oh, really?
And my neurosurgeon said he'd never seen that happen before. I had God touch my body and make me roll into the bed on my right side. Turns out the bleed I was having was on the right side of my brain. I had no idea, by the way. And my world-renowned neurosurgeon told me that saved my life, because it made the blood clot and stop bleeding, which was no issue. That's right. That's a good thing, too, because I was abroad and dealing with government health care, and they were doing nothing for me.
Wow.
The doctor they sent to my house, because I was too damaged to get out of my bed and downstairs, told me my problem was extreme fatigue. And then he accused me of being a typical American.
Really?
Somebody who got up early and arrived at the office at least 2 hours before his British counterparts, and then stayed late and put in a 12-hour day by the time he rode the trains back and forth and got going.
I mean, you have this disease, so I mean, or this condition. Is it a disease or is it a condition?
It's a condition.
So it's a chromosome, DNA. I suppose maybe in the future, if they do come up with ways to manipulate the chromosomal feeds or birth stuff, maybe this is something they could help prevent. Because now, did you have this all your life, or did this manifest in your later years? You've written a lot of books we'll get into.
Yeah. I was living a perfectly normal, happy, joyful, active life until May 6th of 1990. And that's when my first massive brain hemorrhage occurred.
And how old were you at the time?
I was 2 weeks shy of my 42nd birthday. Exactly 2 weeks shy of my 42nd birthday. I never had
42nd
any
birthday.
problems before that.
No problems before.
No.
So is it maybe just as you age, the brain gets a little bit weaker and it's susceptible to these things, or maybe the condition just doesn't manifest itself? I'm no scientist.
I think they grow over time. They start out small and then they get bigger and bigger.
So ages they grow and stuff. Yeah.
But that doesn't explain it all, because the only person in our family now who has the bad gene, and pass it on, is my youngest son, who had a brainstem hemorrhage in his senior year of college and was unable to complete school because of that.
That's unfortunate.
And his daughter is okay. They had her genetically tested. And he doesn't have the gene, but he did. And so he was the only one left that could pass that gene down to another generation. And that's all done now. My grandchildren, nieces and nephews are all free of that negative gene.
I'm glad that they can prevent it for the future, or they can try and prevent it. I guess you can test for it. They need to, hopefully they can come up with some sort of prevention for it. But you wrote a lot of books. How many books do you have? I'm looking at your website here, and there's
I have 6. One of them is in progress as we speak. You mentioned it earlier. It's how we raised 3 children to become exceptional adults with no instruction book.
Wow.
That's being republished now and should be available within the month.
All right.
And by the way, my wife is going to join me on June 4th, and we're going to speak to you together about that book.
All righty. We'll look forward to that. Yeah. So why don't we do this? We'll put that book off on the back burner because we're going to cover that. Yeah. Now, you have a few other books. They Made You the Boss. Now what? A Practical Guide for New Leaders. I love that title.
That book's all about my leadership style. It didn't start out that way, and that's why I gave it that title. It started out to be a book for new leaders, somebody who had never led people before and didn't have clues how to act. The more I wrote and the more I talked to other people, they said, no, Les, you need to write a book about your leadership style because it's unique and it's effective. So that's what I did. And just a summary is, you hire the very best people, and I say in my book how you do that. You put them to work to do the good work that you hired them to do, and then you leave them alone and let them do the job. You don't huddle over them or check up on them all the time.
I can't micromanage them?
No micromanagement allowed.
I just have puppet strings on them, and I stand over them and have them type the key on the keyboard.
If they need help, they know they're free to come to me. But
you bring up a good point that I learned the hard way. Hiring well at the start is one of the keys, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We used to have all these problems with employees and hiring, and it was just nightmarish. Some of the things people that we picked up, people that had alcohol problems, drug problems. I mean, and we used to hire. They would come in and they'd interview, and if I felt like they were kind of the best interview of the day, we go ahead and hire them. Sometimes we were hiring a few people, and so I just hire them. If one interview, hire. And we're just having nightmarish problems and always firing people and writing them up, and it's just problems, theft, lots of theft, employee theft. And I can't remember where I got it, but someone said when you interview people, you need to do 3 to 4 interviews. You really need to get to know them, have them let their guard down so you can kind of really see what you're working with, possibly. And so we started a process where we would do 3 to 4 interviews, and I would interview them, my vice president would interview them, my executive secretary would interview them. And it was really funny. By the 3rd or 4th interview, people were putting their foot up on the desk. They just come in their pajamas, they're farting in the interview. They think they got it in the bag. They go, it's the 3rd, 4th interview. I got this job. And they're letting it all hang out. And then you're finding about their prison time and, and you're just like, wow, okay, I'll write this down. And then the other thing I needed to teach my people was to shut up and quit selling the job. They would sit there for, if you maybe had a 15-minute or half an hour interview, they would talk most of the time. Not the employee or the prospective employee, but our executives. They'd be selling why they should work for us. And I'm like, you need to shut up and let them talk. Because if they've got issues they're hiding, they'll eventually tell you, right? If you just let people talk. And so we learned that, and boy, did our problems just go away. So I can totally attest to what you're saying. If you hire right, it eliminates like 80% of the problems, I think, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which is, I don't know why they hired me, but
one of the things that's in the book that's kind of revealing is that back when I was hiring entry-level people, a lot of those people had worked at McDonald's, and most of them complained, about how hard they had to work and how greasy it was and how low the pay was and all that good stuff. And my attitude was I would hire a guy that said, I worked at McDonald's and I was the best burger flipper in the country. I would hire him over any other person because he was passionate and glad and happy about his job.
They're glad to be away from that grease, right?
That's right.
I did McDonald's when I was a teenager. I've done that. Movie. I was a pretty good cook. Horrible at the cashier thing. But sometimes the politics at McDonald's were the worst because they usually have like 5 managers. And so, so it's like, you never know who am I supposed to listen to? And I remember one time they put me on cashier duty because I guess there were short cashiers. And I remember a gal overpaid by 3 cents. And I didn't really think about it at the time, but later one of the gentlemen who was one of the 5 managers came to me and he goes, you stole $30 or $300 or something. He accused me of stealing, and he said the till was off by I think it was $300 or $30. And I was just stunned. And I'm like 17. I don't know how to deal with this. And I'm like, no, I didn't steal. And he's like, we're going to get to the bottom of this. And he went off, and he was a guy who did have some learning issues. He was, I don't know, a DIY hire or whatever. And he was a nice guy. He just wasn't fully there. And later, about 2 weeks later, I walked around dealing with this fallout. 2 weeks later, the management came to me and they go, yeah, sorry, he does have some learning disabilities. He hadn't moved the decimal over 2 points. You were ahead 3 cents. And then I remember the gal gave me the 3 cents, and I'm like, oh yeah. So $300 to 3 cents or whatever it was. And there's a lot of craziness that goes on at McDonald's. I was fired because I had long hair. That was my big criminal thing. But as I wrote about my book, it made for a great start of a self-employment career. On the other books, how I lost 120 pounds and kept it off.
Yes.
And then that's a pretty good deal.
2 words, or 2 things. One thing, did you know that diet is a 4-letter word?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. I do.
And secondly, it's all about the calories. And your people think it's fat, thinking it's all sorts of stuff, but it's about calories. And also exercise. I was working
exercise.
Yeah, what? I was walking 8 miles every morning at a clip of about 4 miles an hour and eating about 2,000 calories a day, and it just melted off. The way it started, though, was I get up every morning and get on the scales. You're not supposed to do that because you want to
get you frustrated.
That's right. But
your water weight changes a lot.
I woke up one morning, we were living in Texas, and scale tipped at 335 pounds.
Wow.
And I said, I'm tired of going buy my clothes at the big and tall shop. I'm tired of having to replace my clothing frequently because I continue to put on weight. I'm going to do something about that. So that's what I did.
Good for you, man. Sometimes we just have to reach that moment. I reached the same moment in 2016. I was probably close to 400 pounds. It might have been 400 pounds. I don't know. I wasn't weighing myself, but I was really bad. And I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. Yeah. Sometimes, you help a lot of people or you give a lot of people advice and you're like, hey, you should probably do that. And yeah. But you kind of have to personally reach that moment where you're like, I'm sick of this and I'm going to do something about it. And if you can recognize that, sometimes you can advance that and go, you know what, maybe it's time to be sick of this and stuff. You've had quite the adventures in your life. One of your other books I find funny because I've moved a lot too. I seem to get bored every 2 or 3 years and I move to someplace different. I don't know. I just get bored and I'm single, no kids, no wife. So I don't have to stay in one place. Like I can just move. I don't have the kids in school and my wife doesn't have a job, and I can work anywhere in the world as long as we got Wi-Fi to do the podcast and consulting and coaching, the other things I do. So, I mean, it's kind of fun. And it's kind of a pain, though, when you move. The moving part's the pain part. But you've moved 16 times. You've got a book called Moving House, Tips, Tricks, and Sage Advice from guys who've moved 16 times. Tell us a little bit about that book there.
I'll start with the end, which is the first rule about moving to make it not stressful and not a hassle and not a damaging move is don't move anything that you're going to throw away at the other end. It's just stupid. It's absolutely stupid. These people put this stuff in the moving truck, haul it halfway across the country, and then throw it away. Throw it away before you move. Okay, yeah. It's just a matter of we moved so many times that, and by the way, some of it was job changes in the civilian world, but I was also in the Air Force, and the Air Force moves you around at least once every 3 years, and had a couple of moves there that were 6 months or 1 year. So you learn a lot. And another thing that I learned that helped me a lot is the labeling on the boxes. Put that labeling on there so that you know what's in it when it gets to the other end. Because you're going to be looking for something specific, and you won't find it unless it's labeled properly.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's what I hate is when you get to the side, you're like, where the hell is the toaster and the coffee maker? Yeah. That's the number one important thing, the coffee maker.
Right.
Where is it? Which box is it in? You start tearing. And then the other thing, like you mentioned, I always kick myself when I move a bunch of crap. And then I'm on the other side unpacking everything. And then you get really specific and you look at something and you just go, what the hell am I doing moving this thing all over? You're like, I did that for a lot of years. I was moving just all this stuff. And finally I was just like, I used to have like 4,000 CDs or something that I would move. And I think I still have a lot in storage. But I just feel like, why do I keep moving all this stuff around? There's a digital... It's on all these CDs I own are on the interweb, and they're probably better resolution than what I have now. So it's kind of wild, all the stuff you have. On the I found your Les Duncan channel, I believe. It's got your logo on it, so I'm pretty sure this is you. Looks like there's a Les and Sharon wedding documentary about 5 months ago. Does it sound like I have the right channel?
Yep.
Okay. And tell us about this channel. You're using this as a podcast, as a blog. Tell us how this is working and how often you post.
I always admired you, and I am interested in things you bring on the show. And that wasn't, I mean, I didn't try to go after this. Somebody called me and said, I think Chris would have a good time interviewing you. So
on your YouTube channel that you have here under Les Duncan, how often do you post and stuff?
As often as I need to. I will, by the way, post this interview on my website after it's done. So when big events that like this occur, I post them on my website. I have another podcast that's been recorded and it's now being edited and will be out in June. It's called The Les Duncan Show.
Oh, okay.
What it is 5 episodes of me telling the story of my life. It's been an exciting life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been shot at. I've had people point guns at me and not shoot because I told them if they did, I'd get them in the end. I've had all sorts of experiences.
Yeah. It sounds like you've definitely had some fun.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now, this one other book that we'll profile here, 35 years and counting. Tell us about this. A love story plus advice on building an enduring marriage.
Marriage, yes.
Tell us about this book, 45 years.
That's a book about my wife, Sharon, and I. We met when she was 18, just 2 months out of high school, and I was 20, getting ready to enter my junior year of college. We fell in love instantly. It was love at first sight. And this is a book about how we live our married life to make sure that it's a loving, lasting relationship. A couple of things. I have a rule. That I go by that makes sure we never have an argument. That rule is number 1, Sharon is always right. Rule number 2 is if you ever think she might be wrong, refer to rule number 1. We don't argue because I refuse to argue. We also are very loving with each other still.
Good.
The first thing we do when we wake up in the morning, while we're still in bed, I say, "Good morning, Sharon." And she says, "Good morning, Les." I don't say that. Get my sober. I say, "Good morning, beautiful." And she says, "Good morning, handsome." And I say, "I love you very much." And she says, "I love you too." And
That's a good way to start the day.
That's a great way to start the day.
I need to hire somebody maybe I can get Google or what's the other one? Google or Siri or whatever to greet me that way in the morning.
Yeah.
I can try. I don't know. Google usually wakes me up and says, "I hate you." And I go, "Yeah, no, just whatever." I think Google understands me. I think it's the other one, the Amazon one, that can't ever understand anything. If I ever say, Alexa, if I ever say, "Alexa, play the Chris Voss show," she plays something like totally not the Chris Voss show. But at least Google gets me. She'll play the Chris Voss show podcast. I probably just triggered that for everybody in the audience. It's playing the podcast now. That's my trick to get the audience to play the podcast. So this has been wonderful to have you on. Any final thoughts, any questions maybe I should have asked you about, or anything I should have covered with you that maybe we want to touch on?
As I said, we'll be back on your show, and this time Sharon will be with me, and believe me, she's a lot better looking than I am. And so
I hope so. That's usually the way it works with women and men.
And we're going to talk about the book that's currently being published, which is How We Raised 3 Children to Become Exceptional Adults with No Instruction Manual.
Yeah.
It's all about...
You didn't get an instruction manual? I got one.
They didn't send one home with us.
My dad gave me the instruction manual for how to raise kids. It involved him and his belt. Oh! I just joking, folks.
That's a good point. We learned from our parents. And
he made it a very good point. You remembered what you did wrong.
That's right. Yeah.
Ouch. That hurts. Anyway, we'll look forward to seeing you then and anticipating that and all that good stuff. As we go out, give people your final pitch out to order your books and let them know how they can learn more about you.
Okay, my website is really a good website. Amazon Prime wrote it for me and maintains it for me. I have a contract with them. They purchase book rights for Brainstorms and 45 Years and Counting. They've already made a short film out of that. And and on my website, you'll see all the books, but they all have movie trailers because Amazon Prime has in their mind they're going to publish. They're going to make movies out of everyone.
Oh wow, that should be wonderful.
Yeah.
That should be a lot of fun to take and do, making movies of all the books. And, they really should do more of that, really, when it comes down to it. So,
yes, I consider myself a screenwriter.
Yeah. Make those movies, put them on the big screen. A lot of people are trying to do that right now. In fact, you can do a lot of stuff like that with like AI. You can make trailers. I think you made some trailers. I think I see here on your website for your books.
That's right.
This should be fun. So we'll look forward to having you later on in the timeline there and all that good stuff. So look forward to that. Thank you very much for coming on, Les. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. And thanks, Ernest, for tuning in. Order up his book wherever fine books are sold. Brainstorms, Surviving Catastrophic Illnesses. Brainstorms, Surviving Catastrophic Illness, out April 29th. 2008. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss1, the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.
All right, Les, great show.